What's going on, YouTube? We're back at it for another Back for Blood deck build video, and today we're talking about the Grenadier DPS Nightmare deck. Now, it's a little bit of a DPS slash support deck, but the only thing that we're really doing with support is adding some massive damage when it comes to deleting Ogres, Breakers, and Hags, and some of those special infected that may be lurking around. Maybe possibly playing with some randoms that don't exactly have the best DPS deck. Seems like some of them may have just jumped from recruit straight into Nightmare, acting like they could just go through. Didn't have a proper deck, probably don't even have all the cards. Can be very frustrating, but this is one of those decks that can help out in one of those moments. But at the same time, if you have a solid healer, a DPS, and possibly even a melee person or another DPS person, this is going to make Nightmare that much easier, and it's going to give you some of those holdout moments and some of those moments when you run into a Breaker as a random corruption card or an Ogre. Just make those moments a whole lot easier and not relying on absolute DPS to take that down and possibly getting kicked out of the storm or into the storm with a Breaker, or having somebody get instantly down from the Breaker. Anything can go wrong in one of these moments, and this type of build is going to help you in those moments to just immediately knock it out and keep pushing forward and maintain economy when it comes to copper. Now, that being said, we'll get straight into the deck. Obviously, if you'd like to copy and paste this, I'll have it listed down in the description below in order by name, but we're starting off with Copper Scavenger. We're going to have more of those copper piles spawning straight off the bat. We want to get that economy rolling right in the first mission, and right after that we've got Money Grubbers, just gaining additional copper for ourselves as well, since we want to utilize those team upgrades and keep stocking up our grenades with this build and possibly even upgrading them, or just having surplus of things for the rest of the team if they need anything to buy at that next save room. Now, with this card, if you don't know anything about it, we've got that gain of 3 additional copper per stack of copper that we grab up to 75. So what that means is the first stack of copper, you get an additional 3 copper. The next one will be 6, and then so on until it stacks all the way up to 75. But right after that, we've got Hyper Focus. We want a little bit of DPS in the beginning. Obviously, we don't have all the grenade damage with this just yet, but we're going to utilize Hoffman with this. And he starts with Attack. That's going to be the ultimate weapon for you for the Stumble ability. Now, with Attack as a gray item, say you've got a Reeker coming at you, those 3 shots, by the 3rd shot, you should be stumbling him. Even Exploders as well, or deleting Exploders. Attack has some serious damage up close. But on that note, if you do grab, you'll be looking for an attachment for Stumble 25 or above. But with the 25 one, trust me, it's going to be 1 to 2 shots and you'll be stumbling a lot of things. Tall Boy's going to be the one exception. You'll need that 75% stumble damage on them. Get a bit close, hit that weak spot, but this is going to give you that ability to help out with the DPS in the beginning by hitting those weak spots and dealing a lot of damage with that attack. Now, the secondary weapon we'd like to utilize with this is going to be either the Tech 9 or the Glock Auto. Now, with Hoffman, if you're utilizing your secondary in order to kill those common infected, you're going to be having this drop chance. I can't remember the percentage, but he will start dropping ammo from those common ridden. And that can be a huge help for the team going forward. Maintain supply not only for yourself, but for the rest of the team, since it is a random drop. Could be any amount. Keep grabbing those up, just storing it away for the rest of your team for later on if anybody starts running out, or if you start running low. It's one of those trade offers. Especially if you're playing with randoms, sometimes they want to be that guy that says, yeah, you're going to need to give me something in order for me to give you something. But right after that, we've got Offensive Scavenger. We're going to cause the spawning of offensive accessories to spawn a lot more. Sometimes you won't exactly feel it, but other times they'll just be about everywhere. This is going to give us the ability to utilize a bunch of different things along the way. There could be some moments where an alarm goes off. You remember there was a pipe bomb somewhere back at a car somewhere. Drop your grenades, throw that, or possibly even utilize it to gain the buff from a different card that we'll be getting later on. But right after that, we've got Bomb Squad. We're gaining that 100% explosive damage and 35% explosive resistance. In case some of those special infected get pretty close, we got to instantly destroy that or just drop that grenade straight in front of us. It's going to give us a bit of that resistance for that moment from that pushback friendly fire from our own grenade. But at the same time, this is going to give us the maximum amount of damage with that grenade early on in order to delete some of those special infected in certain moments when the DPS is either down or possibly can't get to that special infected in that moment. Possibly save a teammate in that type of moment as well. Could be a big benefit. Now, you could arguably throw double grenade pouch up above offensive scavenger, or in between offensive scavenger and bomb squad if you wanted those additional grenades early on in the game. But essentially, this is going to give us 2 offensive inventory slots. Hoffman already has 2 offensive, so we'll have 4 by this point. We'll be able to hold 4 grenades, pipe bombs, Molotovs, whatever you're feeling at that time, or whatever's cheaper and you can afford more of. That's going to be your best bet. But we'll have more than enough for any of those moments when accidents do happen, where somebody hits that alarm door, car, or birds. But we will take a hit to our damage dealt with this. Obviously, one of those reasons we want another DPS with us, possibly even 2. But the many times that I've run through Nightmare with this build after having this card, didn't really notice the damage. That tax dealing a lot of damage, and that 10% really isn't going to affect us, especially since we're utilizing the stumble for it and help, or having that team shooting moment to completely delete some of those special infected. But right after that, we've got Fire and Hole. Now this is going to give us a little bit more survivability. When we throw an offensive accessory, we gain 20 temporary health and 20% move speed. So in some of those moments, like I said, with offensive scavengers, sometimes you'll be able to utilize this card with that. Throw in some firecrackers. Firecrackers will also be an offensive throwable, so if you see any of those, sometimes you may have a little bit of health down, maybe a little bit of trauma. Throw one of those firecrackers, doesn't matter where, doesn't even matter if there's anything around you, just gain that 20 temporary health. That'll stay there, and you get a bit of a move speed buff from that, but you can also utilize this in some of those moments when you're surrounded by common ridden or special infecteds moving pretty close. Immediately throw that. Later on in the mission, you know that those corruption cards are going to increase the damage or the health of some of those special infected. Sometimes that one grenade won't delete them instantly, but you'll be able to have that movement speed to really get that angle around on some of those tall boys or anything that may have not gotten destroyed by that initial grenade. Get the shot on them, and it should be one shot by the time you throw in that grenade, especially by this point if you've already upgraded the offensive accessories through the team upgrades. It's one thing to look out for, and possibly even have even more of those offensive inventory slots by this point through the team upgrades. But that being said, it's one of those cards that's going to give us that temporary health, give us a bit more survivability, and a bit more mobility to get out of some of those sticky situations. And right after that, we're going to utilize the NUMB card for that 15% damage resistance. Every time we're going to be throwing something, we're getting that temporary health, and we'll be wanting to use pain pills as that poppable medical accessory in any of these moments, just to gain that damage resistance buff as well. Sometimes you get surrounded by those common infected, just pop those pain pills, try to do a circle about, or possibly even just throw a grenade to gain even more temporary health, utilizing that damage resistance from the explosive and the NUMB card. And that'll help out greatly in some of those moments to completely clear everything around you, not go down, and be able to run away fairly quickly with that 20% movement speed. Now, right after that, we've got Marked for Death. This can help out the rest of the team when it comes to damage. Mutations you ping are highlighted, and your team deals 10% increased damage to the highlighted enemies. This could help out with the fact that we're taking that 10% damage dealt down, because the common ridden are not going to be really felt when it comes to that 10% negative. But when it comes to special infected, I didn't really feel it, but it's definitely a number that is being affected. You possibly could delete things a lot quicker without that negative 10%, and this is one of those cards that can help with that and help the DPS and the rest of the team be able to finish that special infected off a lot quicker, but you'll need to maintain that constant pinging on things, so if somebody else pings it, you ping it as well, just so you can gain that 10% increased damage. But this is one of those cards also that you could take out if you're looking for more mobility or possibly more grenades. You could throw in a card like that, or possibly even reload speed. It's definitely something you could trade out for something else that could benefit you more for whatever your playstyle is. But right after that, we've got Improvised Explosives. We're gaining 75% accessory damage. This is going to go across the board when it comes to pipe bombs, Molotovs, and grenades. It's also going to stack upon with that 100% explosive damage, so not only are your Molotovs going to have more damage, but your pipe bombs and your grenades are going to be amplified from this as well. Right after that, we've got PYRO, so anytime we deal fire damage from Molotovs or even jerry cans, we're going to have 100% increased damage with that, and any kill that we get with it is going to give us 3 temporary health. Going to add to that survivability. It's a bit situational, but that 100% fire damage can be extremely strong against those special infected and some of those armored common ridden, or even possibly the common ridden upgraded by some of those corruption cards. It's going to kill them a lot faster. Maybe you've already noticed before, sometimes you throw a Molotov or possibly a jerry can. Common ridden seem to be able to still survive a little bit. They'll be taking that dot damage, that damage over time from the fire, but they'll still be able to swing a little bit beyond that Molotov's flames. This is going to help out with that. Pretty much come to that point where they're not being able to make it that far out of that fire without surviving, or with surviving. Now, right after that, we've got Demolition Expert. We're just adding more to that damage for our grenades and any of the accessories. We'll also have the flashbang possibly getting upgraded from this. I'm not exactly sure how it affects the flashbang. Maybe it gives a longer stun duration. Never really tested on that, but that could be a possibility. And if you're utilizing that in some of those moments when you just find them laying around from offensive Scavenger, it's just going to be a bigger benefit to that accessory. But right after that, we've got Energy Drink, gaining a little bit of that stamina, 25% weapon swap speed, which is going to help mitigate that negative 25 that we have to the swap speed from Improvised Explosives. Now, a lot of times with the currency that we're generating from this, we're more than likely going to be able to afford a lot more of those attachments or anything that we really need from each safe room's shop. We're going to have just about everything we need, but also communicate with your team, drop copper when they may need something as well. If things aren't going exactly to plan, somebody's been down, they've got a lot of trauma damage, you may need to shell out some more copper in order to maintain their health back up to a or mostly maximum point, or losing my train of thought here, getting tongue twisted by it, but the maximum amount of health that you can heal them up to without depleting all of your copper. At the same time, we're gaining that 15% move speed while firing and 10% slow resistance. It's going to help you out in some of those moments when 1 or 2 of those common infected are grabbing at you. You'll have a little bit more mobility with this, but you'll still need to be able to turn around, attack them, or kill them off fairly quickly before the rest of the common infected get around you, because in those moments, trust me, if you get surrounded, that grenade's probably the only thing that's going to save you, because if you try to use utilizing that Tech 9 or that Glock, more than likely you're not going to make it out of there. You're going to go down. You may take a couple of down with you, but they'll just be surrounding you and you'll be down. You'll be one of those bait moments for the rest of your team that possibly are going to fail to run just to come back and grab you. So it's one of those moments you want to break away from that fairly quickly. Make sure that you're not getting surrounded. Drop that grenade if you have to. Don't worry about the damage you'll sustain from that moment. Just get on out of there. And don't force your team to have to push back, possibly get stuck in a situation that'll end up failing and run. Now, right after that, we've got grenade training. We're just gaining another 25 accessory damage with this. Now, arguably, you could trade this card out for something for mobility, reload speed, or possibly even a little bit more damage when it comes to the shotgun. It's up to your personal preference, whatever your playstyle is, but we will be having greatly increased damage by this point when it comes to the grenades and pipe bombs. When it stacks with that 100% we've already gotten for Bomb Squad, along with the 75 and the 50 and now this 25, your grenades are ready to delete just about anything, especially if you've got the upgrade at least one time on the grenades from those offensive accessory upgrades and the team upgrades. You're going to be deleting just about everything within 5 grenades. If you have it any higher than that, blue or even a purple, I mean, it's going to take even less. 1 to 3 grenades at that point is all you'll need for an ogre, a breaker, or even a hag. Just dropping them immediately. But right after that, we've got padded suit. Just a bit of survivability at this point. At the very end, 10% damage resistance, 5 health, and 20% down on our stamina efficiency. But by this point, we've got more than enough stamina. And when it comes to that fire in the hole, that 20% move speed is going to help us out a lot in any of those last missions. Now, this is another one of those cards that you could drop out for something more when it comes to mobility or possibly reload speed, or even more grenade pouches if you wanted. You just want to keep stacking them out, have that maximum supply. But trust me, with the economy you'll be bringing in, you'll be able to buy up those team offensive slot upgrades. That's just going to keep stacking up. You'll have more than enough than you'll actually need. And with the offensive scavenger, you'll be running across more than a few grenades to resupply yourself, or pipe bombs or Molotov, whatever you're utilizing by this point. That's just suiting your fancy. But that's going to be the Grenadier build. It's a grenade overkill. You're going to be deleting those Ogres, Breakers, and Hags. Any of those moments, one of those boss mutations comes into play, you're going to be able to take those on. You're going to help your team out a lot. And if you got a solid team working with you with that healer, that DPS, melee or melee DPS, whatever's running with you in randoms, possibly some of those randoms that just don't quite have the proper DPS, this could help you in those moments to push on through, be able to save them, pull off some clutch plays. I've had more than a few moments with this deck over the night. Probably ran it for about 7 hours. A lot of poor randoms out there that I tried to help, but you know, when all three of them aren't working in unison, there's not much you can do when it just comes to running out of grenades in some of those moments. But it really did show me the strength of this build. And once I finally got a solid team with me, I mean, we just melted our way through the final portion of Act 3. Unbelievably easy. We even went through T5 with this, and I mean, it was an absolute cakewalk. And this was in Nightmare. Unbelievable. I've never had a smoother time in my life on Nightmare. But we'll have some of that gameplay to showcase here at the end. If you have any questions about this deck or some of the cards that you possibly want to replace, let me know down in the comments, or hit the link in the description. Follow me over at Twitch. Pick my brain about any of these decks. If you also have any ideas for some of the decks that you'd like to see going forward as well for Nightmare, let me know down in the comments, or again, hit that link in the description. Follow me over at Twitch. I'm more than happy to answer any questions over there, or possibly start building something from any of your suggestions. More than happy to. But on that note, we'll get straight into the gameplay. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope this helped you out. Again, happy holidays, and hope you have a good one.
Locked and loaded. Take this. Need to reload.
This will be easy, because it won't. The good news is, the KSC has set up shop near the school. You should be able to rest up there before pushing on to the CDR.
Oh, shit, alright. Let's give ourselves a little breathing room. Ooh, nice shot. Get some. I've got a hawker somewhere.
I missed the news right there at the end. Never a big TV fan of recent events. I'm wondering again how all this started.
In a lab, a government mind control experiment to control the masses that got out of hand. Of course, they tried to blame foreign powers, but I know they hit the deep state when I see it.
Parasites spread fast through feces, coughing, water contamination. Its adaptability and fast mutation cycle made it hard to catch and harder to stop.
Nothing to be afraid of. The dead are one of the few things around here that can't actually hurt us.
The sooner we enter, the sooner we're out.
Damn, we can't get in there, can we?
Need to reload.
Dead end. Nothing to worry about. Taking this. Through here!
Yep.
We need to stick together.
Okay.
Spear rifle ammo.
Perfect.
Take this.
Don't need this.
Here.
Oh, we've already got a tall boy.
You see it?
Ready?
Yep.
Seize the day. Reloading.
Through here.
Not in there.
Sawed-off shotgun. Molotov. Yes.
Could come in handy.
Gotta be a key around here somewhere. Let's go.
Oh shit. I took a lot of damage on that.
Shut the incinerator.
Reloading. Shoot him between the eyes. I heard something.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I'm not waiting if you get lost.
I can't believe I missed that. I thought since it was already open.
Need to be more careful.
Anyone need this?
Oh, God, man. How do they keep coming behind me? That's what I want to know. I never remember them coming behind me before.
Flashlights on.
No time for lying around.
Don't need this.
If you
Let's
get
get over here.
I'm not coming to find you. Got to patch this up.
Thanks, Doc.
That's mine.
Oh, man.
Need more ammo. I got it.
We're not immune for nothing. There's a plan. But who or what made it doesn't it at all.
Look out! Sweeper!
Ammo here. Loader. Need to reload.
That doesn't sound good.
Ooh, that's a horde.
We need to stick together. First aid cap.
Load ammo.
Thought I saw something over there. There's a first aid cabinet here.
Reloading. need this more than I
Want
do.
this?
I don't know what it is, but I don't like the
Yeah,
look of
take
it.
care of that now.
Over here!
Looks like we found a stash.
Razor wire.
Target the head.
No need for a diagnosis there. Bruiser! Look! There! Need to reload! Hello, lucky boy. Shenda said she was working up this way. Promised me some supplies if she could find them.
Gonna need a light here. Heading in. I'll take a boon when I
I
find
need
one.
that.
Not too bad.
Intel over here!
First aid cabinet.
Oh, yeah, let's go. We got the bullet stumble as well.
Magazine.
Need that.
Found a barrel attachment.
Get away! Ammo cache.
Over there. Magazine here.
Could be something useful in here.
Locker there!
Over there? Please be careful.
Better them than us.
Turn your light on.
Stand in. Ammo cache here.
You think this is a game? Get back to the tee.
Reloading.
Bird there.
Never searched over here before.
You know how many diseases birds carry? Machine gun.
It's your
I think
lucky
that
day.
20%
HR.
accuracy is over there. Right, hold on.
Watch out, birds.
And I can grab that 10% bullet.
There.
You know how many diseases birds carry?
Over here.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we are stacked out right now.
Here we go. That'll teach you.
That was a pretty close one.
Today's the day, my friends.
Reloading.
Got a bruiser.
What's that?
See that?
Watch out, birds. You get injured. I'm not gonna fight.
Oh, God.
Save that for me.
I just wanted to get some extra copper.
Stick together. Weapons cache here. Shotgun here.
Know what you're in the fire there, Doc. Now you just need to learn where to point it.
Don't blame me. trained to help people, not shoot them.
Only.
Need to
We
reload.
need to find another route.
Greatly appreciated.
Birds there.
Thought I saw something over diseases birds carry?
They'll be back.
Ooh, there's some lag.
Cover me, reloading.
Be careful.
See it?
Careful.
Be careful. Watch out. Hunger.
Snitcher makes such a big fuss over a little shot. Careful! Don't want to be fixing broken bones.
What's that?
What's this?
Watch out, birds! Over there?
I'll take this.
We need to stick together. Look, there!
Toolkit here. Molotov here.
All because of one of these traffic cones, which is unreal.
Patching this up. Well, what do you know?
You know how many diseases birds
Intel.
carry?
The more we know, the stronger we are.
over here. Watch out.
Careless. Looks like someone dropped some intel.
Absolutely. What's going on, man? We're just trying out this Grenadier build. Going pretty good so far. Finally got solid teammates. The randoms have been quite a pain today.
Just what I want.
Over there? I found some intel.
Good lord, how many intel cards?
This could be the difference to coming out of this alive.
You see that?
Already up almost $4 grand on this mission.
Thanks, Doc. Knew we could do it.
I got it.
That's crazy.